sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Yes, both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
We have neither summer nor winter, neither autumn nor spring. We have instead the days when the gold sun shines on the lush green cane fields magnificently. The days when the rain beats like bullets on the roofs and there's no sound but the swish of water in the gullies and trees struggling in the high Jamaica winds. Also, there are the days when leaves fade from off guango trees and the reaped cane fields lie bare and fallow to the sun. But best of all, there are the days when the mango and the logwood blossom, when the bushes are full of the sound of bees and the scent of honey, when the tall grass sways and shivers to the slightest breath of air, when the buttercups have paved the earth with yellow stars, and beauty comes suddenly, and the rains have gone.
Jamaica, land of beauty, we promise faithfully to serve thee with our talents and bring our gifts to thee. Jamaica, we will always never bring thee shame. From the riverside to mountain, from cane fields to the sea. Our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud, and free. Together in our country, in love and brotherhood, we'll work and play in freedom, as all God's children should, with hearts and hands united, in thanks for everything that God has given unto us. Together let us sing, from riverside to mountain, from cane field to the sea. Our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud, and free.
Jamaica, land of beauty. Jimmy Tucker rendition. And before that, the poetry of H.D. Carberry, Nature. 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 22nd day of the 7th month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Put another way, it's the 22nd day of the 2nd month of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season, and according to the latest weather forecast, there's a tropical wave east of Jamaica. The tropical wave is expected to move across Jamaica this afternoon into evening. Additionally, a trough and low-level jet stream are expected to remain across the central Caribbean over the next few days. The rest of this afternoon into this evening will see scattered showers and thunderstorms across sections of most parishes. Windy conditions will prevail along the south coast. Tonight will be cloudy with isolated thunderstorms. Elsewhere in the region, there's a high-pressure ridge across the Bahamas. In the United States, July is being observed as Cord Blood Awareness Month, Healthy Vision Month, International Group B Strep Throat Awareness Month, Juvenile Arthritis Awareness Month, National Cleft and Craniofacial Awareness and Prevention Month, Sarcoma Awareness Month, and UV Safety Awareness Month. The birthday of King Sobhuza II is being celebrated in Swaziland. It's Liberation Day in Gambia, National Tree Planting Day in the Central African Republic, and People's Uprising Day in Slovenia. Hoy es viernes el 22 de julio 2022 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
Walk into Marjan's Pharmacy and you will feel better. The service is clearly different. Marjan's Pharmacy, call 876-703-6335. The time by Marjan's Pharmacy is 2:15. This is Crime Stop. How may I help?
You know them birds have illegal gun, but we know what them know say me talk.
Don't worry, sir. Crime Stop is privately funded and run by the PSOJ. Everything reported here is anonymous. It's just like you're invisible.
What about the reward?
We provide cash rewards for information that leads to an arrest or recovery. We'll stash the cash wherever you like, so nobody will ever find out.
All right, me tell you.
Make the call. Crime Stop 311. Solving crime pays.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration, known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid.
Right.
Where your clearing agent
Are
may
you
not be
still
able
on
to
for an
provide the
interview?
IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration
Okay,
registration
and
number
there
or
it
C
goes
number,
on
which
to
can be used to
details.
verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number.
You didn't
It
send them
is
to the
your
file.
right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
No, we gave it to me and I wrote it. I'm just going through now to see if I found where I wrote the information. Let me go ahead and look at I just need to. Where did I put it? Oh, no. It's okay. It's on my phone. It's on my phone. It's on my phone. Alright. C'est vendredi le 22 juillet 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
Jamaica, we will always, in honor of thy name, work steadfastly and wisely, and never bring thee shame.
All we're saying is, it's Friday, the 22nd of July, 2022, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
For everything that God has given to us, together let us sing. From riverside to mountain, from Hayfield to the sea. Our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud and
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank those who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 from the United States or the United Kingdom. Those in the US who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631 359 8281. 631 359 8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330 606 0953, 0330 606 0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type Dervan Malcolm, and you will be able to watch both sides of the story on Facebook Live. If you don't have a Facebook account, no sweat. There's always YouTube, and you don't need to have an account to access YouTube. All you need is a smart device or a not so smart device, a smartphone, a tablet, computer, a laptop, desktop, any one of those. And you will need internet connection, but importantly, connectivity. And one way to test connectivity is to open a browser like Google Chrome and start typing YouTube. And before you can finish, the box will populate. And if you're doing it now, you should see this video trending. If not, then in the YouTube search box, type Dervan Malcolm, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. What's on your mind this afternoon? Always anxious to hear from you, our faithful listeners at home and abroad. What are your thoughts? What are your ideas? What are your suggestions? What are your concerns? What are your issues? What are your recommendations? What are your criticisms? Whatever is on your mind, let's have it. Let's hear it. 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, but also your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes. In fact, you can call us via WhatsApp as well, and that number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. We continue to celebrate the rich history of Jamaica land we love, and we'll share some more of that with you in the spirit of Jamaica 60. As we have always said over the years, not just this year, but every time, it's been 29 years now, every time we get close to this time of year, a period described in recent times as emancipendence or designated emancipendence, a combination of emancipation and independence. We understand and respect the fact that people will have different perspectives, different views, different ideas on the subject of independence and emancipation. And that's perfectly fine, perfectly normal, perfectly human. So what we are highlighting is that something happened on the first, well, shall we go back in history? 1807, the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade. 1834, the abolition of slavery in the West Indies. However, from 1834 to 1838, there was the apprenticeship system, where the former slaves had to work for a certain period of time for their quasi former masters, if you get the picture. And then full freedom in 1838. And then we had what they call it now, Crown Colony Government. Hope I'm placing it correctly. And you'd be looking therefore at, and then where were we? 1830, 1838, and then all kinds of different happenings. And then in terms of governance and government and political thought and action, universal adult suffrage back in 1944, and one or two changes in terms of the government structure in all the way up before independence. And then, of course, the Declaration of Independence, 1962, 6th of August, 1962. And so there is no getting around the fact that it did happen. Whatever we think of independence and emancipation, it did happen. That's just a fact of life. We can continue to debate for generations to come. That doesn't change the fact of what happened on the 1st of August in 1838 and the 6th of August 1962. I don't know anywhere else in the world the way I know Jamaica. As you know, I have traveled and continue to travel, and I'm still happy with Jamaica as my home. Still very happy with that, as Jamaica as my home. I don't know anywhere else as much as I know Jamaica. I learned survival, and I know what I need to know in order to get around and to navigate and to find my place in this human race, not least of all right here in Jamaica. So I don't know anywhere else. So I don't cheer for any other team but Jamaica, except where you want to encourage maybe a struggling team, or there's a connection one way or another. So Jamaica is what I know. This is the place that I know. So when I speak, with respect to these matters, and I play the festival songs and the patriotic songs and the poems, the Jamaican poems, and so on and so forth. That's my interpretation, applying my interpretation to the meaning of Jamaica, what it means to some of us. Obviously, not all of us, to each his own. So it's really all about Jamaica, and it usually is at this time of year, And it doesn't matter who is in Jamaica House. Whoever is in Jamaica House, whether we like it or not, whether we accept it or not, is whoever is leading the country. Whoever is leading the country is whoever is leading the country. And we have to be mindful of our institutions. Countries don't die, people die. And if we undermine the institutions of governance, and for emphasis, good governance, if we undermine the departments, agencies, etc., that have been established to achieve particular goals, then what we are doing is muddying the water for all of us, because one way or another we're going to get caught in it, one way or another. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Supreme Real Estate, licensed real estate dealers, the experts in residential, commercial, industrial, hotels, and villa sales, rentals, and leases. Supreme Real Estate, Main Street, Salem, Runaway Bay, St. Anne. Call 876-973-5026 or 876-973-6142 and email supremerealestate@cwjamaica.com.
Oh, no problem, man.
Marshall
Thanks.
Black Quarry and Block Factory for all size grits, stone dust, marl, block mix, 4-inch, 6-inch, and 8-inch blocks. Their blocks are certified by the Bureau of Standards and they deliver island-wide. Hardware's homeowners, contractors. Call them at 876-964-9871 or 876-964-3246. Marjo Black Limited, building Jamaica block by block for 30 years. Call them today for a quotation.
Under the law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 50 years, and that's right. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. Wednesdays on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM's, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, and your voice notes. In fact, you can also call us on that WhatsApp line, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. I think it has something to do with how I have been experiencing Jamaica from birth, quite frankly. So, for example, you get to basic school, and you're learning all these gems. And I went to Jeb Memorial Infant School, and you're on Spanish Town Road, and you're learning all these gems. And I can remember from back then, I was always very organized. I was at school very early and organized the furniture, you know, the ones where the desk, it's built in such a way that it's an all-in-one, where you have the bench portion of the furniture and the desk, and they are fitted, they're connected, they're linked, and organizing that, wiping off the dust, the blackboard, and those little things. And then by the time I got to Coburn Gardens All-Age School, located in Portia Simpson Miller Square. It was about, I was being called upon to recite poems and to make presentations at Christmas time. I remember holding up, one of the students holding up the letters that spell Christmas, and my letter was T. T is for treasures, gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Never forget that. And when it's National Heroes time and so on, I remember reciting the bio, the piece on Paul Bogle. I don't remember all of it now, but in a violent confrontation that led to many forces on October 11, 1865, and so on and so forth. And so I've always been learning about Jamaica and the history and the heritage and the culture, and I've always been called upon to recite these things. And then by the time I got to high school, it was all about the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC's Festival of the Performing Arts, which means I was involved in speech, drama, dance, music, public speaking, debating, the whole works. And it just goes to show, and I'm sharing all of this to say to parents and guardians out there that you want to be as supportive as possible of your children's efforts. You don't know where they're going to end up. But what you should know is that if you put the right elements in place, then whatever their choice, they should be fine, whatever they ultimately decide to do. So I had no idea this is where I was going to end up. On Sundays, I would be reading and reading it as if I was on video. But I had no such intentions. I was just doing fun of it. Right? And so I have over the years been invited to MC programs, to be a part of the various ceremonies for our national heroes and leaders in general, deceased leaders, etc. And so I've always been nationalistic or patriotic, whichever term you want to use. And I generally feel a sense of pride. No, it's not a perfect place. It's not a perfect place. But like it with anything else in this life, there is good and there is bad. There is good and evil. There is good and bad. Nothing is 100%, as the late Tony Lang used to say. Nothing is 100%. There are all kinds of variations, etc. But can we exude more often than not a general aura of respect? RESPECT. Can we do that? So, as the Jamaican expression goes, and I used to hear my late mother say it, Audi and Tenkin a Brockner Square. In other words, there is nothing to lose from being polite. There is nothing to lose from being pleasant. There is nothing to lose from being respectful. Absolutely nothing to lose. So can we invade that energy in this time of Jamaica 60? Something we take for granted. We perhaps in some instances don't do it as much as we used to, perhaps, I don't know, perhaps. But we take it for granted that our culture is one where you don't just step past somebody just like that, as my late mother would say, without saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, etc. It's not the done thing. It wasn't the done thing. That's not how we were brought up. That's not how we were brought up. And so the basic thing, if nothing else, look, we don't have to, we don't live in a homogeneous society, meaning we're not all the same. We don't think the same way. We don't act the same way. But there are certain elements that help to shape and mold and nurture the very fabric of our society. And whatever happens, we should try not to lose those elements, because those are the linchpins. I think I have never had to use that word before in my life. I think I got it right, though. Let me just double check that I used it correctly. Linchpin, a person or thing vital to an enterprise or organization. There you go. So those certain elements that act as the linchpin, we should not lose those, because if we lose those, then the whole thing is going to come crumbling down. And we don't want that. We don't want that. And so let us give respect. And when not everybody is going to return the favor, so to speak, but that's fine. As the saying goes, as we said a short while ago, howdy and tenken a brockna square. Yes. We don't lose anything by being kind, by being respectful, by being cordial, etc. So there is that. And there is nothing wrong in supporting a political party. It's what happens all over the world, even in unitary states, so to speak. It's what happens all over the world. So for whatever reason, and people are free to decide the basis on which they're going to support one political party or another. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's the freedom that our forefathers fought for. And let's recognize that. So there's nothing wrong with that. But what we would hope, and again, people are free, but what we would hope is that we are learning, we're growing, we're developing, we are enhancing our thinking skills and our ability to discern, our sense of discernment. The hope is that we're getting better at that, to be able to make decisions that might make our respective political parties uncomfortable. But as the late Wilmot Perkins used to say, in quoting from William Shakespeare, it's not because we it's not because we I'm just trying to get the quotation right, but it's not that we for argument's sake hate or have no regard for the particular leader of the party or the particular party, but it's because we love Jamaica more. And that's a takeaway from, it's not that from Julius Caesar. That's where it's from. So that there comes a time when we have to make that decision that is in the best interest of Jamaica and the Jamaicans. But the political parties should continue to be democratic organizations where members are listened to, and not just in a cursory or otherwise regular, just doing it for the sake of doing it. No. We must really and truly listen. So the hope is that the political parties will grow democratically and will be able to stomach or to countenance those who have ideas, suggestions, positions that possibly run counter to ours. But in the final analysis, even if we don't agree, the least we can do is agree to disagree. And we go about our business. As my late mother would say, no mug, no brock, no coffee, no dashway. One moment, please.
106 FM. The time is now
2:45. National Irrigation Commission customers, you can now pay your bills online using your Visa credit card, MasterCard, or NCB key card by visiting the website www.nicjamaica.com. Select Pay Your Bill option, then follow the instructions, or visit any one of their office locations and pay using your debit card. The National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture. Treat yourself to famous Jamaican jerk dishes at Sweetwood Jerk Joint. Succulent pork, chicken served with mouth-watering side orders. Sweetwood Jerk Joint, open every day. Call 876-906-4854 or come to 78 Nelson Boulevard, New Kingston in a secured environment, across from Emancipation Park. All COVID-19 protocols observed. Sweetwood Jerk Joint, the home of Jamaican jerk.
We're going for gold on Same Frequency this Saturday. Come party with our DJs King Taj, DJ Roderick, and Dalton Lee. Bring your friends and come blaze with us on Fame Frequency's live party at 32 Lyndhurst Road, or tune in live on Fame 95 FM, Hits 92 FM, and RETV. Online at One Spot Media and on Mixcloud at Fame Frequency, or party in our Zoom Watch Yourself area alongside your special guest host DJ Denfo. That's a celebration of Team JA's Gold Rush this Saturday, powered by Smirnoff Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink and party responsibly. Run, 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 run,
run. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We've been talking a lot. Let's clear some messages. I don't know. I didn't plan all of that. I didn't come here with the plan to say all that I have said. It just happened in an organic way. I was led and I was obedient, having been led. Inga Gibson says blessings and love to all. To you too, Inga Gibson. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. Angela in Toronto, Canada. Good afternoon. Olive Jagai. Good afternoon. Amazing, says Inga Gibson. Awesome memories. And you are very smart, Inga Gibson. Angela in Toronto, Canada says, hi, Lady O. You finally surface. Lakami. Boy, the heat depend we here, says Angela in Toronto, Canada. Stay cool, Angela. Breaking, says Inga, smiles. True, polite, respectful. So we're going to send you to the front of the class, Inga. You've been paying attention and you've been making notes and adding to those notes as well. Certainly respect and manners, she says. Olive Jagai says, Lady Angie, I'm here, love. The heat is on. New York is very, very hot. Where isn't? My goodness. Where on this planet isn't hot? Inga Gibson says, love, harmony. Inez Iona Campbell says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Inez Iona Campbell. Inga Gibson says, smiles. Good afternoon, blessings, says Jacqueline Simmons. Inez Iona Campbell says, the heart went down a notch, down to 93 degrees. Inga Gibson says, "You're awesome, Mr. Dervan. You're very kind." Inga Gibson. She says, "Thanks, precious. Good afternoon." To you too. Thank you very much and all the very best. And the other thing that we've been saying from the onset of this pandemic, we've been saying whatever happens, no Jamaican should go hungry. No Jamaican should be allowed to go hungry. We have more than enough food in this country. We waste enough food in this country to be able to ensure that nobody in Jamaica goes hungry. That's a good place to start. That's a good place to start. Food for everybody. That's a good place to start. And then now we work on the sustainability of building the capacity of that individual so that that individual is able to generate his or her own means of sustenance and existence. And then they graduate and move on their own, like a bird being released to fly and soar. And some of them, a lot of them, do soar, as the old tagline for the former Air Jamaica stated, soaring to new heights. How about that? Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And you know, when we talk like this, there are some people who say, but you're going like no problem na there Jamaica. And my retort is, well, is only problem alone there Jamaica? I'm just saying, no, it's not that there are no problems in Jamaica, not at all. But it's a recognition that there are other things happening in Jamaica, and that we still have a lot of work to do in this country. Jamaica continues to be a work in progress. Jamaica continues to be a work in progress. But as my late mother would say, because some of us like to write off Jamaica, we're not prepared to do that. We're not prepared to do that. My late mother would say, man no dead, no call him dopey. Man no dead, no call him dopey. And that doesn't only individuals, but also to Jamaica. Man no dead, no call him dopey. So as long as there is breath, there is life, there is hope. Hope springs eternal in the human breast. Man never is, but always to be blessed. I'm trying to remember the rest of it, but that little piece is oft recited. We'll come back with more in just a moment. But oops, where did she go? I thought I saw a message, a call from, oh, she's here. She's online. So we're going to our WhatsApp number, same as the text line, 876-365-3346. And we're looking at this display picture of a fresh young lady, looking rather fresh and refreshed. She is June in Norway. Hello, good afternoon, Lady June. How are you?
How are you? How are you doing?
I am giving thanks for life. And you?
I'm here. I'm good. I'm here listening. You're enjoying you and the analysis story them. Today I hear they say, we're not dead, not throw it, but we don't understand the one day. We're not dead, not throw it. All kind of stuff. I'm enjoying you, Dervan. But Dervan, I didn't see you. Neither you nor Pastor Fee the whole week. Just last night we get to it, Pastor, because the internet radio was down and it's very often down, but it doesn't matter. I can see you if I want because I'm one of your describer, you know. on the YouTube.
One of our subscribers.
Me can't see when me want. Me can't go back and see you from last year.
You just said something, and it's just one of those things that says you are Jamaican. I mean, we're all different, but there are some elements. So, for example, a while ago, and I'm not making fun of you, but a while ago you said you're one of my describers. But even though that's what you said, I know. I could.
Anyway, forget about it. Stop laughing after me when I not joke with you.
No. The point I'm making is that we Jamaicans, we know what we want to say, and we say it in our own way, right? And there are those of us who are good at interpreting. So don't worry about it. We will always be here to interpret.
So me say me can't look for you. If me not serious today, me can't see you today.
Happy that you're seeing us.
You understand me?
Yes.
But me prefer to lay down in my bed and listen to the radio still. But me can't see you. Anyway, forget about that. Now, how are you doing?
I am, as usual, you know me already, giving thanks for life. Every time I realize that I've lived to see another day, I'm the happiest person in the world.
Your body heat a kill we here too, you know.
Oh, yes, it's everywhere.
But we still are worried too, because when the winter comes, it's just, see, me life is from zero.
But you realize, I don't mean to cut you, but you realize that nature for centuries, ever since the beginning of time, nature has been and continues to build resilience, causing us to become even more resilient, because nature has taken us through all different times and seasons, and with diseases and war and rumors of war and mental health issues and recovering from those things and so on, and COVID-19, etc. Nature has been helping us to build resilience as individuals. Yeah, that's what.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm listening, you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening and learning. You're my teacher.
Oh, I'm humbled. Well,
Hello?
so have you been having fires as well in Oslo, Norway?
Yes. Yeah, not in Oslo, but in different in the forest area.
In the rural.
Mm-hmm. I know I don't have to tell you everything, because you are a clever man. You can just Google or you can see. Norway is not a people, but it's a big country, you know. It's not wide, but it's long.
Mm-hmm.
Understand me, from where I'm living to this blah blah blah, the same like from here to Italy.
Oh.
Norway is very long, but it's mostly forests and lakes.
I see. Mm-hmm.
Mountain, forest and lake.
Mm-hmm.
Not much people, just couple people, but it's a lot of forests, mountains and lake. Mm-hmm. So Norway is not a little piece of paper, but it's very long. Anyway, Dervan, I don't know what to say about you to you. Most of the things I want to say, I want to tease you and make joke with you, but this is not the time for it. Go on, Mark, teach me now. I will listen. I'll get my pen and my paper and my pencil.
All right. Thank you very much for the call. All the best.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. Hello to Olive Jagai says, where are you going to get that, hon? Good luck. Spell it out for us, Olive. We've been talking about a lot of things. So tell us what you're referring to. What is that you're referring to? Natalie Kennedy, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. Pleasure to have you on board Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM. Over on YouTube, Asha Ash says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Just tuning in from London, UK. Welcome, Asha Ash from London, UK. Cherry Henry is wishing everybody, as she says here, a blessed weekend. Thank you very much. Same to you, Cherry Henry. And may you also have a blessed weekend. Take care. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. There's more after the break.
And bring our gifts to thee, Jamaica, we will always. Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3 o'clock.
Monkeypox is in Jamaica. If you are experiencing fever, intense headache, muscle aches, and/or rash on the skin, you must isolate immediately and call ahead to your health center or doctor before visiting. All members of the public should wear a mask, frequently wash hands, and practice physical distancing. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Contractors and developers. Coast to Coast Quarries is having a 20% discount sale on cash purchases on all size stones. We specialize in washed sand and stones of all sizes. And for all your concrete needs, including blocks and marl dust, look no further. Coast to Coast Quarries, Albion, Yala, St. Thomas. Call 706-3230. Take advantage of this super deal.
We're going for gold on Fame Frequency this Saturday. Come party with our DJs King Taj, DJ Roderick, and Dalton Lee. Bring your friends and come blaze with us on Fame Frequency's live party at 32 Lyndhurst Road, or tune in live on Fame 95 FM, Hits 92 FM, and RETV. Online at One Spot Media and on Mixcloud at Fame Frequency, or party in our Zoom Watch Yourself area alongside your special guest host DJ Denfo. That's a celebration of Team JA's Gold Rush this Saturday, powered by Smirnoff Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink and party responsibly.
Run, 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 run.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Angela in Toronto, Canada, thanks for the clarification. Now we know who that was referring to. Thank you very much. Our WhatsApp number is the same as the text line, 876-365-3346. Let's clear some of these messages. Someone simply saying hi. Hi to you too. Thank you very much. And all the very best. And that person is in Jamaica or is using a Jamaica number. Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Happy Friday to you and your listeners. I just want to use this medium to congratulate Ms. Jackson. I would imagine that's Sharika Jackson, for that big win to make her the second fastest living female runner in the world, and also giving Jamaica another gold. She made us proud. Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary. And so say all of us, Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary. Thank you very much for your message. James in East London has sent us the usual collection of UK stories. Woman lay dead in flat for over 2 years, but landlord cut off gas and kept taking rent. How bizarre. Oh dear. Boris Johnson can't forget a richer, easier life. He faces a long and painful goodbye instead. Graham Mansfield, 73, denies murdering his 71-year-old wife, Diane, after claiming he was honoring a suicide pact with her. What a thing. Rishi Sunak has seen his offer to cut income tax by 1 penny in 2 years' time shot down by Andrew Marr during a grilling over the Tory leadership hopefuls' economic plan. BBC agrees substantial damages to William and Harry's. Let's see if we can bring up this story, the rest of it at least. BBC agrees substantial damages to William and Harry's former nanny, Alexandra Pettifer, better known as Tiggy Leggy Burke, a former nanny to the Duke of Cambridge outside the High Court, Central London, after the BBC agreed to pay her substantial damages over false and malicious allegations about her used to obtain Martin Bashir's 1995 Panorama interview with Diana, Princess of Wales. We really expect better from the BBC. BBC, what happened there? What on earth happened there? Not accustomed to that kind of behavior, BBC. Oh dear. Another story. Dr. Raisa Sawati, 33, and had her license removed for dishonesty by a tribunal. She was found to have gone to sleep while working among other misconduct. A Sharia court ruling in Nigeria that saw 3 gay men sentenced to death by stoning could be a slippery slope to more violence against the queer community, LGBTQ plus groups say. Oh dear. And what else? I think that's about it. Those are some of the stories from the UK press shared with us by our regular listener, James, in East London. Thank you very much, James, in East London, for sharing those stories with us. Speaking of stories, we continue to share stories of Jamaica and Jamaicans. And we were about to share with you the story of the Postal Service in Jamaica by taking you back in time to the year. What year was this now? This was the year 1688. A report was submitted by Sir Thomas Powis, His Majesty's Attorney General. The report recommended the setting up of a post office in Jamaica under the control of the Earl of Rochester, the Postmaster General of Britain. That is not to say that we didn't have a post office in Jamaica at the time. In fact, in the year 1663, the then reigning monarch, King Charles II, instructed Thomas Lynch, Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica, to make all the necessary arrangements for the establishment of a post office on the island. The office was to be under the management of Daniel O'Neill, Postmaster General of London, to whom all accounts were to be sent. This royal action ensured for Jamaica the honor of being the first British colony to establish its own post office. Jamaica was the first British colony to establish its own post office. Nonetheless, it was not until 1670 when a gentleman from Port Royal complained to London, the Secretary of the General Post Office, GPO, that the conveyors of the mail were opening letters sent. So if you thought the business of opening people's letters, people's mail, was new, think again. This was happening in 1670. So there was concern that the conveyors of the mail were opening letters sent, and further concerned that no real action was being taken to stop that madness. Roused to action by this letter, however, London at once requested the authorities here in Jamaica to take action, and by order of the Council of Jamaica, which met at Santiago de la Vega, or St. Diego de la Vega, on September 21, 1671, the marshal was ordered to go on board every vessel and receive all letters, both from master and passengers. He was further instructed to make a list of all the letters received and to give receipts for them. For this service, he was empowered to charge a small fee of 3 pence or threepence. Later that year, on October 31, 1671, the council appointed one Gabriel Martin. Can I just pause here to remind us that the name spelt Gabriel refers to a male, M-A-L-E. That's a male, Gabriel. If we are applying that name to a female, it takes an additional L and an extra E, and it becomes Gabrielle. So the female is Gabrielle, the male is Gabriel. Let's move on. The council appointed one Gabriel Martin as postmaster of Jamaica, with instructions that he should create a post office both at Passage Fort and St. Jago. However, this was short-lived as Martin later disappeared. In other words, him run off with the people, them letter and whatever else was in those envelopes or whatever they sent the material in or the correspondence in. The man run off. Him run off, as they say. Can you believe that? And this was when? This was in the 1670s, 1671. So he disappeared after a while. And by 1673, there was again the need for a new postmaster, James Wales, merchant adventurer of London, whose ship, the James, had just been captured off Cartagena by French privateers, appeared. Wales also had close ties with the island, having used Jamaica as his base for much of his mercantile activity. He jumped at the opportunity offered to him in England to take over the post office in Jamaica. However, there was to be more trouble for the post office, as Wales's fellow merchants and indeed the planters had no faith in his ability to run the enterprise. Thus, in 1688, the Duke of Albemarle, governor of Jamaica, ordered an investigation into the operations of the post office. That report was submitted on this day in 1688. And let's remind ourselves of the history of Kingston once again, because on this day in 1692, the council, a body which advised the governor of Jamaica, passed regulations approving the development of a new town which was to be built at Hog Crawl. So what is now known as Kingston used to be known as Hog Crawl. You get the picture? Can you see the hogs crawling all over the place? Right. So the town, the new town was to be built at Hog Crawl across the harbor from Port Royal, and which was to be called Kingston. The town was to be built to replace Port Royal, which was destroyed by an earthquake 2 months prior in 1692. Presided over by its president, John White, the council, a body which advised the government, met on board a ship in the harbor, the Kingston harbor, and passed a resolution to purchase 200 acres of land known as Hog Crawl, owned by Colonel William Beeston. That's why we have a Beeston Street in downtown Kingston. And the cost of the land was £1,000. That's the cost of the land on which Kingston was to be built. Hog Crawl was being occupied by panic-stricken residents of Port Royal, which was destroyed by an earthquake 17 days before on June 7. The resolution, which was passed, read, "There to be laid out 200 acres of Colonel William Beeston's land in the parish of St. Andrew, where the President and the rest of the gents or their Majesties' Council have appointed for the building of a new town. Hog Crawl is across the harbour from Port Royal." The council also gave Nicholas Laws, that's why there's a Laws Street in downtown Kingston. The council also gave Nicholas Laws the task of laying out the streets of the new town. The passage of the regulations came a day after the Island Assembly created the town of Kingston on lands purchased from Beeston on a plan drawn up by John Goff. On August 16, 1692, dispossessed Port Royal residents or citizens met at the home of Mrs. Anne Lauder in Kingston to draw lots which determined allotments in the new town. In 1693, Kingston was declared a parish with Colonel Peter Beckford, that's why there's a Beckford Street in downtown Kingston, the first custos of Kingston, and Edward Yeamans, the first town clerk of the vestry.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
We're going for gold on main frequency this Saturday. Come party with our DJs King Taj, DJ Roderick, and Dalton Lee. Bring your friends and come blaze with us on Fame Frequency's live party at 32 Lyndhurst Road, or tune in live on Fame 95 FM, Hits 92 FM, and RETV. Online at One Spot Media and on Mixcloud at Fame Frequency, or party in our Zoom Watch Yourself area alongside your special guest host DJ Denfo. That's a celebration of Team JA's Gold Rush this Saturday. Powered by Smirnoff Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink and party responsibly.
Run, 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 run.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And good afternoon to Sean and the family. He has taken a couple of pictures with the children in his family and posted the pictures. All the very best. Right, you know how much we delight in playing our part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race, paraphrasing the national pledge. But of course, we always like to say, Parson christening picnic fuss. And if you think something is wrong with that, just remember what the flight attendants tell us before takeoff when they go through the safety instructions. Put on your mask first before helping others. And so there is a school called Oberlin High School, which has produced and continues to produce outstanding citizens of the world. And some of those outstanding citizens have decided that they want to give back to their school. And so they organized themselves into a group called the Class of 1995, Oberlin High School, Class of 1995. And they are putting on a fundraiser. And this is the audacity, which is something good. the audacity of this group to choose Independence Day to host their run walk, their 5K run walk. I don't think, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but I don't think I can recall in my lifetime in this country a 5K taking place, a run walk 5K taking place on Independence Day. So we're going to find out from our guests what prompted this never before heard of, in my humble estimation, decision to host a 5K run walk on Independence Day of all days. So let's say hello and welcome to a lady who benefited from the tutelage of the students of the school she attended, Oberlin, and benefited so well that she is now an accounting manager at Sagicor. And she's a member of the organizing committee. She is Mrs. Sophia Gordon Dennis. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Doing fine. Thank you so much. It's indeed a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you join us. Also joining us is another beneficiary of the tutelage imparted at Oberlin High School. She is a senior sous chef at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel and the leader of the class of 95 Oberlin High School, Mrs. Patrice Hussey Malcolm. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for having us.
Thank you both for joining us. So whose idea was it to have this 5K run walk in the first place, before we even come around to the date, as in Independence Day? Who wants to take that one?
I'll take that one. I think it was just a decision made by a couple of us. We decided that let's just bring back something that we normally do and have fun with. And that was the run going up to Grand Hill and coming back down to track gates and then going back to the school.
Hold on, you're saying that's something you would, when you were at school at Oberlin, that's what you used to do in terms of PE, up and down the hill. Grant Hill, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. And so with that, the Thelma James 5K run walk was born. Now,
absolutely.
So can you tell us, Sophia Dennis, about Thelma James and why you've decided to name this event the Thelma James 5K run walk?
Yes, certainly. Thelma James is a retired educator from Oberlin High School who gave 36 years of dedicated service to the school. Mm-hmm. That included 9 years as principal. She was very instrumental, so we started fitting to honor her legacy. So we named the event after her.
I see.
Yes.
Well, let's come to the event now, Patrice Hussey Malcolm. How have you structured the day's activities in order to meet your objectives? And weren't you a little hesitant or concerned that it being a public holiday, a national, notwithstanding the fact that it falls on a Saturday this year, but the idea to do it on Independence Day? Can you tell us about that first before you go on to tell us about the 5K run walk itself?
Okay, we chose that day because most of us are home on the holidays. So we just chose that day because we're going to be home. COVID is still keeping, so normally nobody's up and down and doing stuff that they normally do. So it's kind of being at home. So we said, let's do that. We're going to be home. Country's now open up, so let's just do it.
And so tell us about the event itself now. Sophia Dennis, how is the uh, well, go ahead first, because we'd ask Patrice Hussey Malcolm first to tell us how the run walk is structured. Just what can people expect for those who are trying to decide whether they should participate in this 5K run walk? What can they expect? What do they need to know?
Okay.
That sounds like Sophia. Go ahead, Sophia.
Yes. The event will commence with the run walk at 6:30 a.m. And as Patricia said, we're starting from Hoblin Schoolyard to Grand Hill back to track gate.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're ending on the games field. We'll have our awards ceremony on the games field, followed by a fun-packed day with food and music and entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a day for the entire family, and not just the run walk, but you can come out with your children. They will have a blast on the rides and bounce about, and it's really with a food, Jamaican breakfast and lunch would also be sold on the day. So it's compact and it's a it's a family day.
Yes, very good. And what do I need to do if I want to participate in the 5K run walk, Mrs. Malcolm?
All you have to do is just come on the day. Come early, like about 5:30, and you can sign up. We have everything organized for you there so that we can roll into starting between 6:30 to 7.
Mm-hmm. And why are you doing this? Apart from it bringing back memories of when you were in school, surely, and obviously providing some fun for the community. Is there a main reason why you are hosting this 5K run walk?
Definitely. We're hosting this because we want to give back. We want to help students who are struggling. We have a lot of students who really maybe can't even afford to buy shoes, books, name it. So that's why we're putting this on, just to help, especially our community.
Mm-hmm. And all right. So what now in terms of the cost, Sophia? In terms of the cost, what do I need? How much money will I need to participate in this Oberlin High School Thelma James 5K run walk?
The entry fee is just $1,000 for us, and we have a special price for students, which is $500. We're actually going to be setting up also the day before the event in front of the school's office from about 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. just to do registration on that day, so we don't have so much crowd on the day of the event. So you can come out 10 to 2 the day before the event, which is August 5th.
All right, very good. Now, what kind of support have you been getting, Mrs. Hussey Malcolm, in terms of your fellow past students and even the current school family? What has the general response been to this Thelma James 5K run walk, which is scheduled for Independence Day?
Well, begging is never easy. It's never easy. So we're getting support, but any support that anybody can give is always welcome, as long as it's good support. So we are still hoping for the best, and we're still pushing, and we're still asking for donations. So if anybody out there listening that can help us, please do. We can be contacted at 909-4548. And there's another number. Sophia, can you help me with that other number?
That's Oliver at 33170.
All right, so let's get those numbers again. Listeners, for those of you, especially those of you who are past students of Oberlin High School, but more than that, those who are supporters of education, those who want to play their part in contributing to an event which is going to provide resources for students who are going back to school or going out to school for the first time come September. So those who would like more information, so you can connect with the class of 1995 of Oberlin High School, here is your opportunity. Listen out for the numbers now. Let's go with those numbers again. Mrs. Malcolm, go with the first number again, please.
876-909-4548.
Sorry, I was just going to repeat. We like to repeat that kind of information so that somebody doesn't call me in the middle of the night to ask me what that number you gave out today on the radio, Mr. Malcolm. It happens, trust me. So I was about to repeat. So that number is 876-909-4548. After the break, Mrs. Sophia Gordon Dennis, you will give us the other number once again.
Protecting Jamaica's borders from illicit imports and exports is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. Hi, I'm Chris Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness. July is Healthcare Workers Appreciation Month, and I want to salute all our healthcare workers for their work, especially during the heights of the COVID-19 pandemic. You are the vanguards of our health, and I have experienced firsthand your commitment, service, and sacrifice. Thank you for all that you do. On behalf of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the government, and the people of Jamaica, enjoy your special month. God bless.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Under the Law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 50 years, and that's right. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. Wednesdays on Power 106 FM.
You know how much we support education at home and abroad, so it was the easiest thing to say yes to the class of 95 of Oberlin High School. They're seeking to raise funds to equip their students with the requisite resources, school supplies, and they're also going to be having a tree planting drive as well, or has it started? Well, it's a good thing we asked the ladies to hang on, because there is more to this story that in terms of the other elements that are at play. But if you're just tuning in, we've been featuring the class of 95, the class of 1995 of Oberlin High School. They are getting ready for their fundraiser, the Thelma James 5K Run Walk Family Fun Day. And it's scheduled for Independence Day. And the proceeds, as we said, in aid of purchasing school supplies for students and also to support their tree planting drive. It's going to be held on the Oberlin High School Games Field, and that's in Lawrence Tavern in West Rural St. Andrew. And we were going to get a number. We're going to have Mrs. Sophia Gordon Dennis repeat that contact number for those who would like more information, those who would like to come on board, those who would like to participate, etc. Mrs. Gordon Dennis, go ahead, please.
Yes. So for Oliver, it is 383-3170.
That's 383-3170 for Oliver.
Yes.
And the other number that was given out, 909-4548 for Patrice. And so what is this thing now about a tree planting drive? That's, which one of you would like to take this one? All right. You want to take it, Sophia?
Yes,
Go ahead.
we have already purchased some of the trees, so we will continue, to get those planted. So some of the funds that we have raised already, we have actually purchased, and the agricultural department will be planting those trees for us.
That's very good. Very good. And so, listeners, once again, it's the class of 1995 of Oberlin High School hosting their inaugural Thelma James 5K Run Walk Family Fun Day on Independence Day. Now, is there an entry fee, Mrs. Hussey Malcolm, for those who will be, apart from the what they would pay to participate in the run walk? What about those who perhaps are not necessarily interested in the run walk but would like to be a part of the family fun day experience?
There is absolutely no charge. All you need to do is come and buy the ride, buy food. So we're making it very easy for anybody to.
But which means, of course, as well, that on the day people can turn up and register on the day, or you would much prefer if they were to register before? And is the registration only in person, or is there an online component?
But we do have an online component. There's a QR code on the flyer, or electronically, if you can send around the flyer, you can also use that as well. And you can sign up, and then somebody will contact you and walk you through the process. So you can do it online, but when you come, you still have to pay. And you can pay on the day before.
Sorry, we lost a bit of what you were saying. You can pay the day before?
Yes. We'll be there. We're at school from 10 to 2 o'clock. Yes. And that's the Friday.
So that's the eve of Independence Day. The class of 95 will be at Oberlin High School processing participants as far as the registration process is concerned, processing participants in the Thelma James 5K Run Walk Family Fun Day. So let me ask you then, Sophia Gordon Dennis, what does Oberlin High School mean to you? What does your school mean to you?
This is a school that has given me my foundation. So I, have to pay tribute to that. Mm-hmm. And that's why we want to just give back in such a meaningful way.
Yes. Did you have a favorite teacher when you were at Oberlin?
No, not a favorite teacher.
It sounds like all the teachers were your favorites then.
A lot of them were very excellent teachers back in the day, definitely.
What kind of student would you say you were? Shy or otherwise?
Yeah, very reserved student.
Yes.
Very shy then.
Yes.
I've grown much of that out right by now, but yeah, I was very shy then.
And who or what at Oberlin influenced you to the point where you are now an accounting manager at Sagicor? I mean, clearly there must have been some foundation laid at Oberlin.
So, I did the business subjects at Oberlin. So we had our great accounting teacher then. So, she would have laid that kind of foundation for us. Mm-hmm. So I'm very, business oriented, accounting oriented. I wasn't a science student at all. So it was just natural for me to progress into accounting.
I see. And how about you, Patrice Hussey Malcolm, your Oberlin High School experience? What was that like?
Oberlin was just somewhere you could go and just express yourself. And that was Oberlin for me. Mm-hmm. It was discipline. Miss James was a disciplinarian. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't even think of doing anything wrong. Yes. I can't remember being at Oberlin and doing something wrong because, not because of Miss James, but you want to make your parents proud and it was such a good environment. The students were good. Everybody around you was just a good force.
Mm-hmm.
So it propelled me into whatever I'm doing. And I always remember Oberlin because, trust me, I remember the discipline. I remember everything, the camaraderie, everything with my fellow students. And even now, some of us are still best friends.
Yes.
Because of Oberlin High School.
And is your current profession as a senior sous chef at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel uh, was that influenced by anything you had to do at Oberlin?
Well, really not. I did technical drawing at Oberlin, so I'm trying to figure out where I end up in food. But I grew up in food, so it was something natural to me. I didn't think I had to go to school to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you go in a professional environment and you have to go to school. But Oberlin just crafted you to just anything you're doing, just do your best.
Yes.
And that's what we did.
Understood. All right, ladies. So as we wrap now, let's put out some reminders just in case there are others who joined us late and not sure what's happening. Let me tell them, and then you can provide the rest of the information. So, listeners, we have been featuring the class of 1995 of Oberlin High School as they prepare for the Thelma James 5K Run Walk Family Fun Day, which will take place at the Oberlin High Games Field. That's the location, and of course there's a route is on the flyer as well, giving you an indication of where it's pretty much from Grant Hill to the track gate, from Grant Hill to track gate. And the event is on Independence Day. So what a way to mark Independence Day. What a way to celebrate Independence Day by invoking that sense of independence in terms of physical activity and resolving to maintaining a healthy lifestyle. No better day than Independence Day for that. So ladies, just in case we forgot anything, just remind us or otherwise interject, put it in there so that those listening will be able to latch on to something that will help them to make a difference in this cause.
So remember, we start at 6:30 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually register the day before. That's 10 to 2 in front of the school's office.
Mm-hmm.
Minimal cost is $1,000 and student pay $500.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's going to be a day of fun and fellowship and togetherness, it seems, from all indications, and all in the name of raising funds to acquire supplies to meet the needs of the students of Oberlin High School. This is very commendable. Is there, remind us though, Mrs. Hussey Malcolm, how can those listening to us who want to connect, who want to go to a place in cyberspace, for example, to follow a class of 1995, maybe they want to become officially become a part of the class of 1995, or just to follow the work of your group?
Follow. Right now we have just an Instagram page. You can maybe go on our Instagram page and follow us from there. It's Oberlin High School class of 95. And we'll be posting more stuff so that you can follow along.
Sounds good. Thank you both, ladies. I feel a little guilty that I've taken you away from your work time because you're both at work. We hope you don't get into trouble.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure having you both on, and we wish you all the very best, and we know you're going to have a successful event. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Take care. Listeners, you heard there from Mrs. Sophia Gordon Dennis. She's accounting manager at Sagicor, and a member of the organizing committee for the Oberlin High School Thelma James 5K Run Walk Family Fun Day, scheduled for Independence Day. You also heard from Mrs. Patrice Hussey Malcolm, senior sous chef at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel and the leader of the class of 1995 of Oberlin High School. Listeners, we make absolutely no apologies for highlighting the work of these groups, organizations, institutions, clubs, associations. As long as they're doing good work, we want to provide a platform to share their story. After all, this is both sides of the story, isn't it? We are interested in this kind of work. This kind of work is priceless. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. More messages coming in from Inga Gibson. She is really expressing herself a lot in these emojis and emoticons. There's another name for them as well. Audrey Smith in Southampton in England says, afternoon, Dervan and listeners tuning in from Southampton. Welcome, Audrey Smith in Southampton and all the other Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica in Southampton. And Cherry, we read Cherry Henry. Truth to Power says, in Animal Farm, those hogs who have their snouts firmly planted in the political trough filled with rich mash will always think that there is reason to hope. Oink, oink. Well, it is hope why you are online right now, Truth to Power, on YouTube. You have hope in this country, and you have hope in this program, and you have hope that we will read your message. Hope springs eternal, truth to power, and that is the truth. Jamaican View says, your monologue mentioning political parties. I fear the United States may have a second civil war involving the Republicans and Democrats. U.S. needs to study what occurred in 1980 in Jamaica. Millicent Morris says, blessings and love to you too, Millicent Morris. Jamaican View says, kudos to the alumni members of Oberlin High School in organizing this 5K run walk. It's a fine example of giving back to one's high school alma mater, says Jamaican View. Ras Eyuda says, blessings, JMGB. Blessings. Blessings to you too, Ras Eyuda. Yes, he's in the UK as well. Thank you very much. It is Jamaica 60, and we're going to share with you another piece of our history. Let's take you back to 1962. The first guest of the government to arrive to participate in the ceremonies associated with the granting of independence on August 6. Mrs. Violet Watson of New York City, USA, was welcomed by Minister of Finance Donald Sangster. She was the widow of Jamaican James Watson, who became the first Black judge in New York City. The first Black judge in New York City was a Jamaican, James Samuel Watson. One of the first two Black Americans elected as a judge in the state of New York. James S. Watson was born in Spanish Town, Jamaica on the 29th of May, 1882. His father, James Michael Watson, was a sergeant in the Jamaica Constabulary Force and would later work for the Jamaica Government Railway as a conductor and platform foreman. His mother's name was Elizabeth Jones Watson. After attending elementary school in Spanish Town, James S. Watson worked as a bookkeeper, cashier, and then chief clerk at a hotel in Constant Spring, Jamaica. In June 1905, Watson moved to New York City. There, he attended evening high school in Harlem and graduated from high school in 1910. In 1908, he had begun working for the law firm of House, Grossman, and Voorhaus, located at 115 Broadway, as a clerk. From 1910 to 1913, Watson took night classes at both the City College of New York and New York Law School, from which he received an LLB in 1913. He became a United States citizen on July 3, 1913. He was admitted to the Bar of New York in April 1914, and the next month was admitted to practice before the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. Watson remained at House, Grossman, and Voorhaus, now as a lawyer until 1920, becoming head of their Department of Corporate and Tax Law. In 1920, Watson and two other black attorneys, S.T. Christian and J.E. Stevens, founded their own law firm where he would practice law until 1930. In 1922, he became Special Assistant Corporation Counsel to New York City in the Special Franchise Tax Division. He also represented Marcus Garvey during the 1920s. Watson ran for municipal judge in 1930, and together with Charles E. Toney, also elected that year, thus became one of the first two black judges in New York State. He served as a judge until his retirement in 1950. He faced a particularly tough re-election campaign in 1940 when Tammany Hall denied Watson the position of Democratic nominee, in spite of Watson's being endorsed by the Association of the Bar of the City of New York. Tammany Hall eventually relented, and Watson was given the nomination and won re-election by a margin of 9-1. In 1943, Watson was the first African American to become a new member of the American Bar Association since 1912. Watson retired from the bench in 1950, becoming president of the Municipal Civil Service Commission. He held his position until his death in 1952. His funeral was attended by more than 3,000 people, including nearly every high-ranking city official. Vincent R. Impellitteri, the mayor, sounds Italian, Impellitteri, the mayor of New York City, was one of the pallbearers at his funeral. Watson married a fellow Jamaican American, Violet Lopez, at New Haven, Connecticut in 1917. Along with Mary McLeod, Violet Lopez Watson was one of the founders of the National Council of Negro Women. James and Violet Watson had 4 children, including Barbara M. Watson, 1918 to 1983, who was the first African-American Assistant Secretary of State and who served as United States Ambassador to Malaysia. James Lopez Watson, 1922 to 2001, who became a judge of the United States Court of International Trade. Douglas C. Watson, who died in 1993, a design engineer who helped design the Republic F-105 Thunder Chief and the Republic F-84 Thunderjet. These are people of Jamaican heritage we're talking, you know. Grace Elizabeth Watson, born 1924, served in the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. James and Violet Watson also had several nieces and nephews, including J. Bruce Llewellyn, 1927 to 2010, a prominent businessman. Colin Powell, born 1937, the first African American to become United States Secretary of State. When there is all this rich history and heritage and achievement, how can we only detain ourselves with just one particular meal, for want of a better word. There is just so much more to learn, so much more to share. And we thank you for allowing us to share this information with you, all a part of the Jamaica 60 milestone. Martha Laurent in Dominica, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. Sharon Richards says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Late for class. Better late than never, Sharon Richards. Thanks for joining us and all the best to you. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine says, congratulations to Sharika, Shelley, and Elaine. Indeed, we join you in conveying congratulatory messages to these outstanding Jamaican athletes. We all have it inside of us, every single one of us. We have it inside of us to be great, to be outstanding, to be excellent. We just need to let this little light inside of us shine. Ellerid says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Listening to Delroy Chuck in Parliament expressing himself about a fine for curse word that only exists and known only in Jamaica as curse word. In Canada, when one heard someone saying any word that we call curse word, it's like a song to them. Once I and a police was talking, and he said, someone said it to him, if I know what he is talking about. And I laughed and said, it's just a slang. I think the government should remove it as a curse word and Jamaicans would stop use it. Well, we don't have one curse word in Jamaica. We have multiples. We have multiple fabrics, all kinds of fabrics in Jamaica. In America, and America has given the world one curse word essentially, which has a couple of variations or additional syllables. We have said before on this program that there is no such thing, technically speaking, there is no such thing as a bad word. Technically speaking, there is no such thing as a bad word. A so-called bad word is a function of culture. It's a function of culture. A particular culture creates a particular terminology, a particular phraseology, or a particular expression that is readily understood within a particular space, within a particular time, and indeed within a particular place. A time and a place for everything. And so what really happens in societies is that we create what are called social constructs. Social constructs. So a society decides whether over time or at a particular point in time that certain words or terms or phrases or expressions are offensive. So the society says this is offensive. And what does that mean? It means that we're going to tell our children, if we ever hear our children using those words, some of us would spank them, or we talk to them and we said, don't use this word. This is a bad word. No, don't use this word. But technically speaking, there's no such thing as a bad word. So the society creates what are called, or what is called a social construct. So this society, Jamaica, says all the words that we use and regard as expletives and bad words in Jamaica, that they are such. The Jamaican society has created that social construct. What does that mean now? It means, therefore, that you can, just as the listener who sent us the message, Ellerid, was saying, you can use those words and expressions and fabrics, the various cloths. You can use those terms and phrases and expressions in Canada, and you can even sing them like a song. And the people in Canada, save and except for the Jamaicans, the people in Canada would perhaps cheer you on because they'd never heard anything like that before, or they can't relate. One moment, please.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
July's Healthcare Workers Appreciation Month. Come make we salute our healthcare workers who fought for us during the COVID-19 pandemic. You are our heroes. Healthcare workers, thank you for your commitment, service, and sacrifice. Enough respect.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
If you have diabetes, two names you need to know: CareSense and Sure Comfort. The CareSense blood sugar meter provides the latest technology and the lowest priced strips on the market, accurate and easy to use. Sure Comfort insulin syringes, pen needles, and lancets offer the latest in needle technology, making it almost painless. One more name: Jamaica Hospital Supplies, 66 and a half Halfway Tree Road. Call 929-2850. Visit our website.
Jamaica, land of beauty, we promise faithful.
Que ahora es en español, son las 4:01, que la retire en français, les 4:01. 现在TDN 了4点01分 a minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now's a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon to Velta Wilson. She says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Happy weekend to you all. To you too, Velta Wilson in St. Thomas. All the very best. Right. And I'll just say one more thing on the subject of so-called bad words. To make the point I was making going to the break about people using those words in Canada, those words not meaning anything to Canadians, but perhaps to Jamaicans. If you use them to a Jamaican, it's a different story. And I'll give you, I experienced it myself. I as a student in high school, I was chosen to go to be a part of a cultural exchange program, and went to San Francisco in California, and I was watching BET. I think it was BET I was watching, and there was this music video that was on, and the person in the music video was using all the Jamaican curse words you could think of in the music video. I kid you not. But then that doesn't mean anything to the broader Canadian society. They don't have those words in a social construct that says these words are bad, so they don't apply in that regard. But anyway, so it is. We'll pick up on that point perhaps, but we have to go to the phone lines once again, 876-922-4112-5. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello.
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 You're on.
Good afternoon, Sir D. I have a burning issue. I've been trying to get read the water commission. I've been trying to get some water from them from last year, November. I even sent you a text or WhatsApp last year, and I'm still not getting any water from the water commission.
I don't understand.
I don't understand either. I know they were
What, they cut off your water?
We don't know because I called not so long ago, calling the toll free the customer care line, and I gave my account number and I asked them. I wanted to know if we were active customers, and they said yes, we're active customers. So I said, why don't we have water then in the pipe? Yeah, and that's because I know that we're fixing the roads, but the roads are finished now, and not a drop of water morning or night. Dervan, we have in the pipe.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me either.
Is it possible for you to just, nothing extensive, but in general terms, send me that information so I can WhatsApp it to Andrew Cannon's WhatsApp numbers, please?
Yes, I will, Dervan.
All right, that's what I would suggest. Just do it right away, please.
Yes, I will.
And I'll forward it. Thanks for the call. Sorry to hear of your plight. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Let's go to the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm giving thanks for life. And you?
I'm doing the same.
Good.
Okay, I give you a call because today I hear something in the news, and as I switch to your program, you was almost on the same topic. But if you're using certain offensive word, now they have a new law out that if the transport authority and you get into an argument and you use what they call bad word, you could be fined $500,000. Now, what if that transport authority use it to you?
Well, that means that person can be fined as well. No, but seriously, one of the things I've noticed in recent times is that we have become quite liberal in our use of Jamaican curse words. I mean, no more than ever. I mean, people in Jamaica have always used them, but I get the impression now that it's almost as if a lot of us as Jamaicans feel a great sense of liberation to be able to just use them lavishly, in a manner of speaking. And the slightest thing, it's another Jamaican curse word and another one behind that one and so on. And I'm just wondering if this is an attempt to get some of us to tone down on the level of disrespect that we mete out to people who are carrying out their lawful duties. I just wonder if that is the reason. In any case, it's still on the books, isn't it? This is I'm trying to remember. I know there is some reform that has been taking place.
Yeah, it's on the book, but
yes.
They increase the fine. So
yes,
look like they might try to criminalize the citizens of Jamaica.
The use of the curse. Well, personally, for me, I've never had a problem with curse words, Jamaican curse words, because I don't use them. I've never used one in my life. Never, ever used one in my life. I have had no reason to use one of these words. That's just a fact of life. So for me, I hear people use them, and some people use them in such a way that they're so funny, etc. But ideally, you don't want those to be the first words that the children hear as they grow. You really don't want those to be. You want to encourage them to use other words. There are so many words in not just the English language, but in the Jamaican language that can be used without without coming across as being crass and so on and so forth. So on the face of it, we should be able to live in a society where people express themselves. What we will not do is to cause those expressions, those so-called Jamaican bad words, to go out on air, whether radio, TV, or in any space where it would be offensive, especially for children, etc. We don't want to be to take that kind of approach. But as I said, for me personally, they're like water off a duck's back. They don't mean anything to me, quite frankly, from except that in the society called Jamaica, the nation has decided that those words are curse words that have no place within certain time and space. Yes.
Yeah, they have to strike the balance that if the authority use it, the penalty go for them too.
Yeah, well, we would, and this, but I guess the hope or the thinking is when you are at that level of an inspector, you are not expected to stoop to the level of the average person who might decide to tell you about what kind of fabric you're made of.
Because I see people get into arguments sometimes, even with the police, and I see them using those words. And when people use it back, they start coming hard on them, say the person disrespect them. But at the same time, you use it too, that's why the person end up using it.
Yeah, there's a general breakdown in civility in this country. There's a general breakdown in civility. And so what tends to happen now is anything, what's a Jamaican expression? Anything you do me, I gotta do your back. The Jamaican expression. Anything you do me, I gotta do your back. And if you chuck me, I gotta chuck your back. And if you tell me bad word, I gotta tell you bad word back. And my thing is to just try and pacify those situations when they arise, and to separate the feuding individuals, and just try somebody just crack a joke or something and get people to forget, to just put that incident behind them and move on. But there's a level of vitriol that is out there now, and everybody, for example, want to take on police. And it's been happening for a little while now in our society. And my thing is, brilliant. You want to take on the police? Come here. Let us use some of that energy to take on those who mean us no good in this country, those who are engaged in nefarious activities in this country. Come, don't leave the police alone. Come, go and take on the so-called bad man them. Nobody's doing that. They're not taking on the bad man them. Is the police alone them have strength for? Why? Because the police, as bad as things are in Jamaica, the police are still governed by laws, and they're still subject to the laws of this country. But the lawless among us, the reprobates among us who engage in certain behaviors, we are afraid of them, but we're not afraid of police, because we can chuck police and do this with the police and that to police, etc. And we don't realize that what we are doing, notwithstanding the flaws of the police service, what we are doing every day we do that, we undermine national security in this country. That's what we do every day. We undermine security. That's what we do. This is an institution that is supposed to serve, protect, and reassure. As we said, they're not perfect. They have their flaws. But let's remember these are individuals who go off like any other individual who's supposed to be of a certain standing, and they end up doing the wrong thing, etc. But it's the institution we must protect. The institution that says we must have a police service to maintain law and order, a functional police service. But if we keep undermining the police service, as opposed to advocating and agitating that those within the service be extricated from the service. You see the difference? It's one thing if you know of those who are corrupt and are in the service, in the police force, that you do something, you play your part to ensure that they get out of that, they're taken out of the force. That's good, right? But it's another thing now when you seek to undermine the very organization that is supposed to enforce law and order in this country.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, Mr. Malcolm.
Sorry. 1 moment. Hold it. 1 moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration, known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
There's a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with only approximately 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people do not participate in a formal pension plan, such as contract workers and the self-employed, and some are not eligible for a government pension. Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement. Join Real Business every Monday at 9:30 a.m. for an informative discussion with Peter Rose Hall, Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement Wealth Creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher.
Together let us sing, from riverside to mountain, from Canefield to
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4h16. Tiensai, TDN le CDN. Well, the time just changed. It was 16 past 4. It's now CDN Shi Fen, 17 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? Yes, young people. Yes, we know it's a Friday, but you know what we always say, have some fun doing the homework now so you can have some more fun this weekend. How about that? And yes, we know you're not all attending summer classes, but for those who are attending summer classes, we trust you had a productive day of learning today. We hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people, and remember, even when school is out, homework is always in, because homework is about preparation, and proper preparation prevents poor performance. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Thanks for holding. Please continue.
Yeah, I'm saying some people feel like they can take on the police, but at the same time, some police officers abuse their power.
But that's easy. That you don't need to be a genius to figure that one out. That's obvious, not easy. It's obvious. This is what I'm saying, which is why I always say on this program, You can train people all you want. You can prepare people all you want. You can school people all you want. What it boils down to is what an individual does at a particular point in time. So with all the training, first day, out on the beat, a policeman decides to beat a pedestrian, for argument's sake. Now, that is, who do you blame? Can you blame the Jamaica Constabulary Force for that? Or
why run their head? You have to blame.
Huh?
Why they running in the head? You have to blame. Because what am I thinking in my carry out?
Because the point I'm making is, man is, as we like to say as well on this program, man must be protected from himself. That's why we have laws, rules, regulations, systems, protocols, procedures, etc. Man must be protected from himself. Left to himself, man is perhaps the most destructive creature on the face of the earth. So that's what we have to do. We have to put in safeguards, and we also have to ensure that we act decisively when decisions are to be made with people, involving people who were held in a certain esteem based on the position they held. They were held in a certain esteem, with a level of esteem. But then they did something counter to the institution or organization they represented. They must be dealt with seriously. And then, even before that, as we like to say on this program as well, we must continue, those of us who have been doing so, and those who haven't yet, let's try. We must continue to raise more men and women of integrity. Let me put it another way. We must continue to raise children by inculcating the requisite virtues that will cause them to grow up, well, even before they grow up, from childhood, that they would be people of integrity. People of integrity. If we raise more children in a way that inures to integrity and honesty and truth and all of these values, then it means by the time that youngster gets to the age where he or she becomes eligible for a certain position, he or she already has that solid foundation. And so, and so you will end up having policemen and women of integrity out of that population of children we have raised and inculcated in them the importance of integrity and honesty and truth and all these other elements. I think that's where we have to look, because a lot of our people now are set in their ways. For the majority are set in their ways. These trees cannot be bent anymore. And so what we have to keep looking is just trying to leave a legacy of people of integrity. Just let us just work on creating more men and women of integrity. The more of those we have in the population, the better for our institutions and organizations. It means we have a wider pool from which to select men and women of integrity to operate in positions of decision making.
So we'll close that. But the question I want to ask you now, when you end up in court, say they accuse you of using bad word to them, and you end up in court, and you met the judge now say is him or she first use it, that's so you end up use it. What happened?
It will be your word against the individual's word. unless you have eyewitnesses, maybe a dash cam or some other device
Well, talk
recording.
about the camera thing. The camera thing in Jamaica, from time ago, yeah, the police going to use camera. How that work out?
They've been using it. It's not fully rolled out. It's not the real article just yet. They're still working on that, but it has been quite useful in helping them to track down certain people who were fleeing the law, to bring them into custody and so on. It has worked. It has worked so far. There's more scope for it to be even better and more effective. But there is no doubt that it has worked so far. There's enough evidence to that effect.
Okay, and closing.
Yes.
I have two virgin aspire. One claim that him boss won't give him a raise. And the man him boss get a little problem there, and him said he use some of those bad words to the boss. He had a virgin say to him, say, don't you talk to your boss like that? Him say, so you have to get raised from them guy, because them guy don't cheat that man good. So the virgin say, wait till me go work later, me and my boss. Him go to work now and start get an argument with him boss and start to use those words, and him boss fire him. Him call back him virgin and say, oh, my boss fire me and your boss don't fire me. And your boss don't fire you. You know, virgin tell him, say, my boss definitely said, no know where I'm going. You're going to talk about hunger.
All right, you're gonna have to buy a round for that one. But thank you for the call anyway. I'm sure no offense was made was no intentional offense to those who are hard of hearing or deaf. Please, we need to be a little more sensitive. Thanks for the call nonetheless. That's the age in which we live now. We have to, now more than ever, we have to be sensitive to these matters. I know there was a time, for example, when people would be referred to as being handicapped. That word is no longer in use in that regard, unless you're on the golf course and you're playing golf, and that expression comes into play. But outside of that, we talk about persons with, or people with disabilities, or people who are challenged in a particular way or another. Or you can say a deaf person, that's acceptable, or a blind person, because there are those who are deaf, like totally deaf, and there are those who are hard of hearing, which doesn't necessarily equate to being deaf. And then you have those who are blind, and others who are visually impaired. There is a difference. If you are blind, it means your vision is totally gone. Your sight is gone completely. Blind. If you are visually impaired, it means you're still able to see, but your vision is not what it used to be, if it's a case that it degenerated over time, or it is, well, you get the picture. You get the picture. Let's move on. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website. I think someone by the name of Bunty, Bunty, was trying to get through on the WhatsApp line, but couldn't, because the caller we were speaking with a short while ago was on that line. But the line is now clear. Our colleague Vivette Malcolm says, hi, Dervan, I totally agree with you. I have never used expletives. My parents and grandparents never used them either. I don't even want a man around me to use them either, she says. And then she goes on to say, that was a big boy story, the one where the caller was talking about the deaf boss. Yeah, well, this is not a place for big boy stories. In Jamaica, they call it big boy. Someone has shared lots of videos of the SWAT team and soldiers and police. Oh, this was in Portmore. Oh, the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force launched a major operation in Portmore, St. Catherine today. So someone has shared videos of that activity. We're not able to watch any of that right now because we're on air. Thank you very much for sharing, nonetheless. Hello to Kimon Gooden, another of the Jamaicans in the diaspora, doing great work. Kimon Gooden in where is she? She's in California, Orange. Is it Orange County or East? Well, I don't want to give the wrong information, but she is in California. Hello to Joan, who is in Bermuda, another Jamaican stalwart in the diaspora. And let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
The Jamaica Agricultural Society, in association with the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, present
the Denby Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show
from July 30 to August 1
at the Denby Showground, Maypen, Clarendon.
Yes,
It's open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily.
Admission $1,200 for adults, $600 for children. Jamaicans, grow smart, eat smart. Come celebrate Jamaica 60 at Denby 2022. Jamaica.
We're going for gold on Fame Frequency this Saturday. Come party with our DJs King Taj, DJ Roderick, and Dalton Lee. Bring your friends and come blaze with us on Fame Frequency's live party at 32 Lyndhurst Road, or tune in live on Fame 95 FM, Hits 92 FM, and RETV. Online at One Spot Media and on Mixcloud at Fame Frequency, or party in our Zoom Watch Yourself area alongside your special guest host DJ Defo. That's a celebration of Team JA's Gold Rush this Saturday, powered by Smirnoff Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink your party responsibly.
Run, run, run. In honor of thy name, work steadfastly and wisely, and never bring thee shame. From riverside to mountain, from cane fields to the
Que hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5h moins 29. 现在几点了？5点28分. Well, it started out at 29 minutes to 5 o'clock. It's now 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Looks like the president of the Republic of Namibia is coming to Jamaica. And all right, it's a state visit from August 4 to 7. We wish him well. Let's clear some more of these messages. Lloyd, otherwise known as, well, let's just go with Lloyd for the time being. He says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Good afternoon to Jamaica and Jamaicans in and out of Jamaica. And Mr. Dervan, saying hello to Nika Tyson from out of Trinidad, now in Philadelphia, listening to your show. Hello, Nika. Tyson. Question, Mr. Dervan. It's for Mr. Richie. If you're listening, Mr. Richie, why to me, Mr. Richie, you always sound like you're putting down Jamaica and their policies with their government? Can you answer, Mr. Richie? Please and thanks if you're listening. I hear you always talking about a car you send there and you make it sound like a big deal. Why is that, Richie? And you always be saying that what you worth. Well, hopefully Richie, is that Richie Nebar you're referring to? Hopefully Richie Nebar is listening and will respond accordingly. Here's a message from David Crossburn. He says, "Hello, Dervan. Greetings to you and your global listeners. May the grace of Lord Almighty be our portion. On the matter of heat wave, thanks to Google for recording and sharing with the global listeners an interview I did with the late Doreen Samuels in 2016. At the time, I shared a New York Times article. If you think it is hot yet, just wait. We in Jamaica can embrace opportunity from this crisis. For example, the development of a unique lip gloss, or do you mean lip gloss, in honor of our phenomenal athletic prowess. You mentioned some time ago about a patent along these lines from as early as the 1900. David. Yes, indeed, David. We'd have to go back in the archives to pull that information. Clifford says, "Hi, Dervan. That description of Jamaica in the start of your show sent me back to the 1950s. I nearly called my real estate agent to sell my house, pack up, and run back to Jamaica. Then the reality hit me. It is not the same Jamaica. My friend moved to Grange Hill. His stuff was stolen from his veranda. At night, in Toronto, you leave your furniture, your barbecue, your gardening tools, your car. Everyone can afford it, so they do not steal it. I will keep hoping. Shine on, Dervan," says Clifford. Clifford, hope springs eternal in the human breast. Hope springs eternal in the human breast. Can you imagine what people were saying and how they were expressing themselves in 1918? I think it was 1918. That was that Spanish flu. Imagine what people were thinking and saying. Can you imagine what people were experiencing in World War I or World War II? What they were thinking and saying. Those in the concentration camps, thinking that's it. There is no hope. Hope springs eternal. Hope springs eternal. When you're in it, when you're in the moment, it's very hard to see your way out because you're in the moment. You are experiencing all kinds of emotions. But there are more than enough people in the world who at some point have said to friends, colleagues, neighbors, and obviously family members, but look how we the things said this is got just mash up and done and but look where I come from doing that kind of. How many of you listening to this program have at some point in your life, you say, but look at that. Now, I could testify actually in that regard. I could testify, but I think that would be too much information for you in terms of my business. Too much information for you. But I have lived it, I've seen it, and experienced it, where you think, no, this is not working out. This is crazy. This is, yeah, you see me licking the mic, knocking away the microphone. But at some point you sit down and you say, but look at that, E. You remember the first time we tried to do that and it didn't work, and we said there was no hope of it working. Look at it now. We have all had that moment at some point in our lives. That is called hope. Because those of us who try and continue to try, it might not happen in our lifetime. It might not happen in our lifetime. But that is not to say we're not going to sow some seeds. We must sow some seeds and plant some trees as examples of how hope indeed will continue for as long as there is life. As long as there is life on earth, hope will continue to spring from the human breast. There is no guarantee that we are going to be around in the next second, the next minute, the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year. There's absolutely no guarantee. No guarantee whatsoever. What do we have? We have now. What we have is now. That's what we have now. N-O-W, three-letter word, now. That's what we have. And as the saying goes, never look back with regret, nor look forward with fear. Look around you with awareness. Remember the millennium bug? Everybody thought that computer systems and everything connected to computer systems would crash because the millennium bug is going to bite, so to speak. Anybody remembers that? Whatever happened to the millennium bug? Whatever happened to the millennium bug? You get the point we're making. So never look back with regret, nor look forward with fear. Look around you with awareness. Never look back with regret, nor look forward with fear. Look around you with awareness. What can I do right now? What is my priority right now? What do I need to do right now? Get it done. It gives us, when we get work done, it gives us a sense of satisfaction, a sense of purpose, a sense of being a part of something good. Let us do what we can while we can until we can't. Let us do what we can while we can. Why do we wake up in the morning? Do we even have any control over waking up in the morning? Some of us go to sleep and never wake up. And knowing that, knowing all that we know, one would expect us to demonstrate by virtue of by virtue of our outlook, to demonstrate that we have an appreciation for these things. There are no guarantees in this life. But as long as we're breathing, let's do something. As the Jamaican expression goes, do something before something do you. Let's do what we can while we can. We don't know how much time we have left. So let us live our best lives. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Thank you, Sophia, for sending us the information with respect to the situation with the NWC. We are going to forward the information to Andrew Cannon of the National Water Commission. We are forwarding that information right now. Did you include a number? Oh, well, we can always, yeah, we have the number. Never mind. All right, so we're sending this information to Andrew Cannon. This is something we can do right now. We don't need to procrastinate and say we'll do it on Monday. We're sending it to Andrew Cannon right now. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. Call Marja Black Quarry and Block Factory for all size grits, stone dust, marl, block mix, 4-inch, 6-inch, and 8-inch blocks. Their blocks are certified by the Bureau of Standards, and they deliver island-wide. Hardware's homeowners, contractors. Call them at 876-964-9871 or 876-964-3246. Marjo Black Limited, building Jamaica block by block for 30 years.
Hello, good afternoon. Fine, thanks. How are you? Good. Reverend Samuels. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. The only thing is I'm still on the radio. I just cut my mic to take the call. So I will definitely have to be the one to call you back. I'll call you back for sure. I'm finished on air at 5 o'clock. All right, but thank you for the call. Good to hear your voice. Okay, talk to you later. Thanks. Okay. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5:14. 现在几点了？5点加14分。14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned in to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? And I'm sure there might be some of you listening to my expressions and perhaps thinking or saying, as my late mother would say, your bread butter upon two sides, so you can't say anything you want to say. Well, if that were the case, I perhaps wouldn't be here right now and maybe be somewhere in Paris, France, on the Riviera, somewhere else. I don't know. I'm just saying. Far from it. Those who think my bread is buttered on both sides, you'd be surprised. You would be absolutely surprised. We have to deal with certain issues like anybody else. All kinds of issues like anybody else. It's just a fact of life. But some of us, as individuals, we deal with things differently. There are those of us who would, just as my late mother would say, ball down the place or do some bad things. But no, we are going to continue to deal with what we need to deal with for as long as we need to deal with what we need to deal with. and at the same time recognize grace, favor, and mercy granted to us as we continue to pursue certain goals, ambitions, achievements, outcomes. Let's just keep at it. But rest assured, well, let's leave it there for now. Let's see. Good afternoon, Faye Weller. Thank you so much for staying with us. Karen Murphy says, good day, checking in from New Jersey. Why has the PM not made a statement yet about the current situation concerning Donna? And this is the social media personality who has been missing for some time now, and it's a police matter, and police are involved in terms of their names are being called one way or another as being associated with this situation. We'll see. I don't know. You're asking why hasn't the Prime Minister made a statement? I guess he could. But then whatever the statement he's going to be making has to take into account the fact that this matter is under active investigation and would have to therefore align or comport himself accordingly. Let's just leave that there. So he may or may not say something about it. Yvonne E. Wallace says, so true, hope is powerful. Indeed it is. Thank you very much, Yvonne. And let's see. Ras Eyuda. Well, let's go up a bit. Alvin Daly says, Teacher Dervan, good afternoon to you and the Power 106 family. To you too, Alvin Daly. He says, Mr. Dervan, if bad words are against the law, shouldn't there be a rule in the force against police using them? Absolutely, Alvin Daly. Lorna Fairweather says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Thanks for the info education on the Jamaican judge in the early 1900s. I agree, no need for curse words. And Ras Eyuda says, I came in at 6 and just finished listening to Peter Tosh album. Everyone love it. All right, well, you continue to treat yourself to the musical genius of Peter Tosh, who made his contribution, which lives on and on and on. Sophia Nemard, good afternoon. She's in Newell, St. Elizabeth. She says, maybe the PM is afraid he goes missing too. Sophia Nemard, I hope that wasn't an attempt at a joke. This is serious business. A life is at stake here, one way or another. Thank you for your message, nonetheless. Sophia Nemard in Newell, St. Elizabeth. I do have a sense of humor, but I also am quite sensitive to an expression that I learned from my late mother many, many years ago. The frogs say, what is joke to you is dead to him. The frogs say, what is joke to you is dead to him. So nothing is wrong with having a sense of humor. But even in that moment or that mold, we must also be sensitive in our expressions. Thank you very much, nonetheless, Sophia Nemard, for chiming in and being a part of today's edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. We have more World Championship action to look forward to. And it does fill one's heart with joy to see and hear. I mean, listening to the commentary, those Englishmen are something else. It's a hell of a thing when you have mastered the English language. Then it's second nature when you describe what you're seeing and what you're expecting, and then in the heat of all of that and the adrenaline pumping and being able to choose the right turn of phrases and expressions and pulling certain happenings into the mix. Marvelous work by the commentators at the World Championships. But of course, that's what it takes. That's the kind of work it takes to properly characterize what has been unfolding at the World Championships, especially as it relates to the Jamaican athletes. And not just the Jamaican athletes, but you get the point. You know, it's a case of naturally we would be closer to them. You get it, right? Yeah. But yeah, you have to have that skill and that be nimble on your feet in terms of the words and expressions and the terms that you use. And it takes special, very special, talented, trained, seasoned people to be able to capture that moment. And what a moment. And we have had a few of those moments. So let's look at the schedule. How are we looking for the rest of this afternoon into evening? Let's see. Today is the 22nd. And session 2, session 1 is still going on then, is that it? Or are we seeing replays? Well, I can't see on that screen all the way over at Hits 92 studio. Can't see a thing, but I know that a TV is on. And let's see. Yeah, this evening there's the women's 4x1 relay heats. And I'm just highlighting the events which will feature Jamaicans. The men's 4x1 relay heats is at 8:05 this evening. The women's 800 semis is at 8:35 p.m. The women's 400 final at 9:15 p.m. The men's 400 final 9:35 p.m. And the women's 400 hurdles final 9:50 p.m. So those are the events to watch a little later on. Where there's a television monitor, as we said, and it looks like either those are highlights or otherwise. I'm not sure. They look like just highlights as opposed to live action. But so it is. All the best to our athletes who continue to make us proud. Thank you. Thank you very much. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Friday, the 22nd of July, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns Monday afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm inviting you to join us in the morning if you're up to it. If you don't feel like getting up tomorrow morning between 6 and 9, stay in bed, enjoy yourself. If you prefer to get up and listen to us, thank you very much. Thank you to Adrian Reed for doing technical and production duties behind the scenes. Thanks to you, our faithful listeners and viewers at home and abroad, for making it Both Sides of the Story. Please have a safe and peaceful weekend.
in our country, in love and brotherhood, we work and play in freedom, as all God's children should, with hearts and hands united, in thanks for everything that God has given unto us. Together let us sing, from riverside to mountain, from cane field to the sea. Our hearts salute Jamaica, triumphant, proud and free.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News comprehensive.